Hello, everyone. Bront, CatHerder here. We're having some fun talking Raid Shadow Legends, and I don't have my editor access today, so we are going to just run this one quickly. This is a news video. We are going to be looking over the Raid Shadow Legends update. I've got some additional news beyond what is listed here, what they have in that sneak peek, and honestly, some of that news is actually pretty awesome as well. But first of all, if you want to start a brand new raid account, you can use my link down below and you will get a free Zargala, as well as some skill tomes, energy refreshes, force potions, and rank up chickens, as well as at level 15, you will get Ugo with some XP brews, silver, and magic potions. So help get you started with a couple of really good epics. Zargala is an absolutely amazing damage dealer and decreased defense champion. And Ugo is a great all-around champion for the early, middle, and end game, giving you great support, giving you some debuffs, and give you some great healing and a chance to recover as well. So go use that link down below. If you have Polarium Play, you can log out of Polarium Play and then download the link using a brand new email and start a new account and get started in Raid today, or you can download it on a device you've never used Raid on before. So if you're a new player or if you are an existing player looking to make another account, go use my link, and it's an absolute great way to start Raid. But for those of you that are not just starting Raid today, or maybe you are, you're just kind of curious what kind of cool new things we have going for it, well, this is the sneak peek for the next update that should be coming sometime this week. So this is pretty awesome. Let's go take a look at the video.
Hey everyone, update 10.30 is just around the corner, with Raid's 6th anniversary being the focus. Alongside that main course, we'll also be serving up some tasty side treats for you to enjoy as well. So let's dive in with our latest sneak peek and see what's coming. First up, Raid's turning 6 years old. The Festival of Creation will be returning this year, packed with new events, gifts, and all the fun you'd expect from an anniversary celebration. This year's Festival of Creation is being held in...
On a side note, if we do not get dancing animations like that in the game, I'm going to be very, very disappointed.
Aravia, home of the elves. Think classy soirees, elegance personified, and high society. Fancy, right? The Bastion is getting a makeover, so get your finest silks ready. If the enigmatic and charming Armands the Magnificent was the perfect host last year, then the graceful and sophisticated, aristocratic Lord Entertainer Fabian is certainly the man for the job.
He is very, very cool looking. Definitely not an elf. That is an undead. But I think he's really cool looking. I think that they've done a good job knocking this out. He's got kind of that undead vibe of him, the Siphi Rhodos, so that's kind of cool. Looks like he's got a couple of AoE skills as well. Looks very interesting, so I can't get waited to see what they're going to tell us about him.
This time around. Sure, he's undead, but death is no excuse to stop the festivities. Fabian loves hosting parties, and that sometimes means dealing with unwanted guests. He's a crowd control powerhouse with petrification and true fear debuffs, manipulating skill cooldowns and a self-cleanse, all part of his kit.
So it looks like he's got an AoE True Fear with that petrification, and he's got an AoE attack of some kind that appears to be locking people down. So that's very good, and an extra turn mechanic. So he's just got an extra turn. Assuming that's part of his kit and not some weird gear thing that they've done. That would be a bad showcase if they did that. But very, very interesting. Petrification is very useful both in PvP as well as PvE. It's a great way to lock people out.
He's going to crush it in Arena and Siege. No one ruins Fabian's receptions and gets away with it. You can get your hands on Lord Entertainer Fabian through a special fusion event running from March 10th to March 26th. Don't miss out on adding this graceful ghost to your roster.
So March 10th would be next Monday, which means this next summon event, that probably indicates this next summon event is probably going to be 2x Primals, and then it's going to be 2 weeks more for the 2x Ancients. That's actually very unfortunate from my free-to-play perspective. I was really hoping we're going to have 2x Ancients this weekend, and we're not. I'll have to figure out what I'm going to do with the shards, but 2x Primals probably next weekend. That would actually not surprise me at all. It'd be a great weekend to do it.
You can find all the details for this year's Festival of Creation on our dedicated website. There's also a little puzzle related to this year's celebration. And so
interesting little puzzle right here. Of course, hopefully this is not something as simple as, 6 years or year 6 or raid 6 or something like that. But we'll see what it is.
Solving it will net you a sweet reward. Raid's 6th anniversary isn't the only thing coming with Update 10.30. We're also rolling out some live arena changes that we teased in one of our What's Next in Raid episodes. We're speeding up progress by increasing the points you earn per victory in silver tiers to 7 points and reducing the inactivity penalty to just 1 point.
So basically this looks like what they're trying to do is they're trying to get people out of silver and into gold as quickly as possible and then have everybody in gold. While I don't think this is the worst thing in the world, as I can tell you from a free-to-play perspective, my free-to-play is struggling in silver just because I'm so far up because they've been pushing how fast you can advance that I don't have an account that can match up against a lot of the teams that I'm now fighting in silver. So it's been an interesting struggle to win matches in Live Arena with my free-to-play and low-level account. So they do need to be careful how fast track they make getting into gold in Live Arena, because you could eventually drive people off of wanting to play Live Arena because they could get matched up with people that they basically can't really compete with because of a combination of the age of the account and the gear that they have farmed combined with the champions they happen to have. So there's certainly always going to be that level in Live Arena. You're always going to have the mismatches, particularly because some people will spend and some people won't. But it's no fun to be fighting against time after time against accounts that are so much better than yours. So they do have to be careful with how they handle the early game accounts in Live Arena.
Once you've battled your way into gold tier, that's it. You've made it. No more dropping out. Speaking of leagues, we're changing up gold tier as well. It'll now become a Live Arena seasonal league, complete with a live leaderboard. Each session will last for 4 weeks, followed by a 2-week cooldown before the next one kicks off. During this cooldown period, you'll still earn and lose points based on victories and defeats, and you're still aiming to climb as high as you can. For those of you who reach the top of the leaderboard, there are some seriously awesome goodies up for grabs.
Now, I appreciate what they are trying to do with this stuff. This is kind of cool. The problem that I have with this particular reward is there are supposedly millions of people who play this. Although, to be fair, we all know that there are not millions of people that compete at the top level of Live Arena. There are probably hundreds, however. And if there are hundreds of people that compete, giving the first place, the only person that gets access to these mythical fragments, seems really kind of sus. I think that you really shouldn't limit these mythical fragments to anybody. I mean, maybe even have those to the top 100. Maybe they just get less of them. But literally, whoever gets first place gets richer because they get these mythical relic fragments. Seems like a great way to have the rich get richer constantly and unbalance Live Arena. So I think that that's a little bit of an oversight, and hopefully they kind of fix that, but we'll certainly see. I do, however, think that that is a problem with some of these competitions, especially in long-term competitions where simply spending money can get you the win. Well, if eventually it's just a matter of the winners continue to get even better because they have a huge advantage over the person that didn't win previously, that just seems kind of sus. So
if you can finish in the top 100, top 10, or the #1 spot on the leaderboard, you'll be rewarded with shards, gear, skill tomes, and more. Plus, don't forget to show off your exclusive new avatar frames and flex your ranking on friends and foes alike.
Now, the avatar
There's
frames
also milestone rewards you can earn during a Live Arena seasonal league by gaining season points. Once you've claimed them all, keep fighting and earning points to claim a seasonal chest. These chests contain artifacts and accessories from 2 new variable gear sets.
Okay. Just going back here. You can get mythicals from this chest, although you have to get to milestone 8, and who knows how hard that is going to be. But you can at least get the mythical stuff normally. But it's still rough when you can get basically effectively 1 mythical a month, and 2 if you win the entire Live Arena season. So we'll see what they can do. They do need to make these things a little more accessible. They need to make some of these gems a little more accessible. It's definitely been hard to get gems, particularly of certain shapes. So we'll see.
2 new variable gear sets. Let's check them out. First up, there's Stone Cleaver. As the name implies, it's perfect for taking out enemies hiding behind stone skin shields and will suit your attackers nicely. As it's a variable set, you'll get different bonuses for equipping different amounts of gear. But at 9 pieces, you'll get 25% more attack. 30% more critical damage, 10% more speed. Ignore 20% of your enemy's defenses, and you'll deal 100% more damage to stone skin shields.
They really need to figure out how to deal with Stone Skin better than this. I don't hate the set. It's a lot of extra damage. It seems like a good nuker set in general. You are still probably better off with Merciless. Merciless is a much better set, I think, than this one. The big problem they have is doing 100% more damage to Stone Skin shields. Well, a Stone Skin shield can reduce the damage by 85%. So if I'm doing 100% more damage and it's reduced by 85%, I'm only doing 30% damage as opposed to 15% damage. That's still not enough to go through Stone Skin shields if they're on any sort of tanky champion of any kind. Now, they might nuke through, like, the weaker champions, so that might make some of your nukers a little more vulnerable. But overall, and you can see with Modo testing that other content creators have done, extra damage to Stone Skin shields just doesn't work the way the Polarium would like it to work. So they need to rethink how the Stone Skin works if they want some of these sets that are supposed to help you do damage through Stone Skin to actually do the damage.
Not hard to see why it's called Stone Cleaver. The second set you can earn is called Rebirth. I think I can guess where this one's going too. Rebirth can make your revivers faster with an extra 32% speed, more resilient against debuffs with 60 points of resistance, and also grant them a bunch of unique effects. They'll revive allies with 10% extra HP and turn meter, get a block damage buff once per round whenever an ally is killed, and decrease the cooldown of an ally's skills when they get revived by the wearer.
That is an amazing set. Top tier for your revivers, useful for other champions as well. If you have a champion you don't want to have die when somebody else dies, you could certainly use the Rebirth set to basically get the Ugo passive on that champion when somebody else dies. That's pretty impressive in and of itself. A lot of speed is great. The resistance is just kind of meh because resistance is so hard to build that 60 extra resistance is nothing. But yeah, this looks like an amazing, amazing set. And this is actually where I want to mention one of the things that they don't mention in this video, but that I've actually found because I've checked a couple other content creators out as well. You are getting an additional 100 accessory and 100 artifact slots with this patch as well. So I still don't think an extra 100 is enough for the way that they have these sets. And particularly, I think the more of these 9-piece sets that they put in the game, the more they need to rework how accessories work in general, because accessories are really, really hard to use. And I think need a revamp in some way, shape, or form, because you need to keep so many accessories for champions you might want to build in some of these 9-piece sets. And 100 more is almost enough to cover the needs, what you might need for just one of these 2 additional sets, because they're 9-piece sets. So they need to rethink gear and gear slots quite a bit. I know for early game players, it may not seem like it's a lot. The level of gear you need to keep around, it almost is at a point where you almost need to be able to actually have a champion with 2 pieces of gear on them so you can actually have different builds and slot the different builds on them. That would actually be a lovely improvement. It would also be nice to be able to change out things like the blessings and change out things like masteries a little easier, because there's so many champions you often need different builds on that the gem penalty for redoing their masteries and the gem penalty for redoing their blessing really, really seems excessively punitive in this day and age.
It's a real lifesaver. Both sets offer advantage in PvE and PvP, so whether you're crushing it in the dungeons or conquering the arena, these sets are here to help you dominate. Another feature coming in 10.30 we teased in our last What's Next video is background multi-battles. Once you hit level 45, you'll unlock this feature for all game modes across Raid where multi-battles are already available. All you need to do is set up as usual, and then tap the Start Background Multi-Battles button, and you're good to go. Multi-battle rules still apply, but here's the best bit. You won't have to sit and watch your champions fight. You can sort your gear out, summon champions, almost anything other than watching your team run multi-battles. Oh.
Now, this is one of these things that when I ran it, and I looked at this back during a different reaction video, I kind of thought this was an okay addition. And then I actually played a game where this was something that was doable. and I was actually surprised with how helpful I found it to be. Is even if I can't run other additional types of combats as it currently starts with right now, it's once you're running the multi battles, you're good to go. It would be nice to eventually be able to run arena battles while you're doing it. It's certainly nice that I can re-gear champions, that sort of stuff. It does make things a lot easier, particularly what this is really good in is this is really good for your faction wars or your Doom Tower, where I can run them in the background and then do something else during that little bit of time when they're running. Now, for me, faction wars on my endgame account, generally pretty quick, but I know it used to be something that would take me, 15, 20 minutes to run through one faction. And that's 15, 20 minutes I can spend doing something else as well as doing my faction wars. Or I can run all of my Doom Tower stuff in the background while I do something else. And overall, I think that's a very, very good overall quality of life improvement. And I'm hoping that they can also get it to where I could certainly run PvE stuff while I also then run some arena. Because, for example, it would be nice to be able to run Doom Tower in the background while I also did my live arena, for example, would actually save a ton of time on many accounts.
And you can use background multi-battles with super raids at the same time. Lastly, but by no means least, we've got a little quality of life update for Siege coming too. Clan leaders and deputies will be able to set attack targets as high, medium, and low priority. It's a handy little way to help ensure everyone in your clan is on the same page. Knowledge is power, and knowing where to attack can make sieges more successful.
Yeah, that's a big quality of life. There's already a repair building and a focus on upgrading building for in between sessions. And I don't know if a lot of companies actually use that, or a lot of clans, I should say. I know I use it in the clan that I run, and I don't know if people actually are aware of it or not. It just doesn't seem to do a lot. Quite often people still spend their money elsewhere or don't know how to spend their money. Siege needs more than just this. Siege needs significant bigger improvements than just that, but it's a step in the right direction. So I'm not going to be too upset with them making at least a step in the right direction.
And that's everything for today. We can't wait to celebrate Raid's 6th anniversary with you when Update 10.30 drops. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and drop a comment to let us know what you're most excited about.
So there this is. I will leave a link to this video in the description below. Again, if you want to start Raid, check out my link below. It is a wonderful, wonderful way to get started in Raid. And overall, there's some good stuff here. And we're getting big quality of life improvements. At the same time, we are not getting as big of an improvement as in many ways I would certainly like. So I'm going to keep pushing on Raid to continue to improve the game. So I got to give them credit. This stuff looks good. The Fabian looks great. I'm definitely excited to get this champion on hopefully every account I can. But it's going to certainly take a little bit of time and investment for Raid to continue to turn around the perception about how this game works, about some of the pain points of this game. And while these are addressing some of the pain points, there are more than Raid can continue to address. So appreciate you guys sticking around. Hopefully this was entertaining and educational and hopefully very exciting. Hit that like button, smash that subscribe button. I definitely appreciate it. You guys are absolutely awesome. And until the next video, I'm Bront CatHerder.